Hello, Kyle. Thank you for joining us today to share your experience about teaching English in China. It's my pleasure to talk to you. So, can you please introduce yourself, how old you are, where you're currently teaching, and what is the age of kids you're teaching?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Kyle. I'm 26 years old. Working in Xi'an at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and age goes from between 2.5 to 9 years old.
Okay, great. How did you decide to come to China in the first place and teach English there?
Yeah. When I was back in England, I was working pretty dead end job and
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really experiencing that. So I really wanted to come to another country, and I've always been intrigued by the culture of China
Mm-hmm.
and like everything they would have to offer. So I had a look about a bit and decided to go fully for it.
Did you consider any other countries where you can teach English, like Vietnam or South Korea, or was it only China, and why specifically this country?
No, I basically stuck really to China,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just the amount of things that I could see and do here, and like every Chinese person that I've met highly recommended going to the country
Mm-hmm.
to feel the atmosphere at certain times of the year, but also the culture that is always happening.
Mm-hmm. Great. As for the company that you applied with, Work and Live in China, was it the only company you applied with? And if no, if you applied with other agencies, why did you choose specifically Work and Live in China?
So that Work and Live in China was the only one that I properly applied with. I looked around at other ones, but um, the way that I saw the testimonials and saw all those sorts of things about how the company worked, I decided that one would be best for me.
Mm-hmm. What was the process for you when you applied? Like, what happened? Can you describe a little bit your way of doing things like collecting documents or anything before you came to China, like step by step?
Yeah, so I did a Skype interview
Mm-hmm.
with someone from Work and Live in China. And then I got an email address, and I got a couple of emails, and they literally gave you a list of stuff that you needed to get, or
Mm-hmm.
like stuff I already have, and they guided you through everything about um, how to get a visa, what was the best way, if there was any companies that could
Mm-hmm.
help with it, all sorts of jabs and things, all medical things that you needed to come over to China, and it was, if I had any questions, like they answered it straight away for me.
Mm-hmm. When you arrived to China, can you describe like first few days, like 2 3 days? What was the process and what was the support provided?
Yeah, so I got picked up in the airport by the head foreign teacher
Mm-hmm.
and the manager of the school,
Mm-hmm.
and they came, picked me up, and then took me to my apartment, showed me all around like the campus, and then took me out for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, they kind of said, have a bit of a lie in because the jet lag's going to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
And then they took me around a couple of areas in Xi'an, and then took me out for dinner again.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, I was into work and like fully guided by the head FT and the manager of the whole um, school as well. So yeah, it was really nice to have that bit of a connection with them first, spend a bit of time with both of them
Mm-hmm.
before I go straight into work.
Okay. As for your first week in the school, can you describe what was happening? Like, what was the teaching like? Is it hard to teach English in China?
Yeah, it was hard to get used to at first because there's obviously it's like starting any new job. Like it's hard to get used to the way that things are done,
Mm-hmm.
and the performances you have to put on every single day. But yeah, like the kids were awesome, really receptive. It was just getting used to sort of like what I was supposed to be teaching them and the way that the company and the school like to be like their teachers to teach people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was every time I had a question, the head FT or the manager were quite happy to sit with me, even for like half an hour if need be, to explain everything thoroughly to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I had every bit of detail that I needed.
Is it your like first time in China, or have you visited before?
No, it was my very first time.
Well,
So
in
yeah,
this
it was
case,
a bit
can you describe your impressions about China when you just arrived or spending there like first week? Did you notice any cultural difference that stunned you, or something that is really awkward or weird, or makes you feel like this is a totally different world or something like that?
I mean, yeah, like everything is just so much bigger here. Like it sounds like a silly thing, but everything is so much bigger. Everything's so much more spread out. So many more people in the spaces that in England there's half to a third of the amount of people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, culturally, like the food thing was a big thing. Like everyone likes to sort of like share their food or make it an actual occasion rather than
Mm-hmm.
you're going out for something to eat. It's more like a social thing with them,
Mm-hmm.
and that was definitely a big thing that shocked me a bit. Um, yeah, and other than that, everyone's just really nice to you. I mean, I get stopped in the street where people like to try and practice their English with you. So you can stop and just have a 10-minute conversation with
Mm-hmm.
someone that you don't even know. So yeah,
Okay,
it was really good.
as for Chinese food, how do you find it? Have you tried some traditional dishes, and do you like it?
I've tried some. I mean, I was given a bit of advice. Don't, as soon as you get here, don't go fully for Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
The manager suggested that, and it was like, let your body acclimatise to the food. And some of them, I don't even know the names of the dishes. Some of my work colleagues have just got it and said, yeah, try this. But yeah, like, it's so good. It's a little bit spicier than what you have the impression of before you come
Mm-hmm.
here, but it's always very tasteful as well.
As for the Chinese language, how do you usually communicate outside of the classroom, or have you learned any phrases or words to communicate to Chinese?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's very hard. Like a lot of it can be done through your phone. You
Mm-hmm.
can use translation apps. There's certain bits that you like pick up in the moment, and but you can do a lot with like your gesturing and things like that. And everyone seems to take a bit of initiative
Mm-hmm.
and think, oh, this person's a foreigner. Like if I'm in a taxi and the taxi driver is like we're close to it, he'll sort of like point to the side of the road, and everyone gets the impression if you nod, then he'll pull over to it. If you don't, then he carries on going for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy, even if you don't know the language.
Okay, great. As for your apartment that you have from the school and provided by the company, can you describe what's in it, if you like it or not? Maybe something missing in the apartment, and how do you feel about it in general?
Yeah, I mean, my apartment was it was a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like really small, maybe like a studio apartment that I would be used to in England.
Mm-hmm.
but I've got like a bedroom, a separate kitchen, which was it was a really nice surprise, and the size isn't that bad. When I got here, it was like it had a sofa, had
Mm-hmm.
a coffee table, had a fridge, had a washing machine, TV, um, it like bed, everything that like you mainly need straight away.
Mm-hmm.
And all I had to do was get a couple of bits that I would want, so things to cook with and things like that. Um, the only thing that was missing that kind of like it is a bit of a shock is like in England you get your cooker and you have an oven and you don't have ovens here
Mm-hmm.
unless you have a
Yeah.
separate one.
Speaking about the salary and how much can you really afford with the salary you get in China, and do you feel comfortable living on such salary, buying stuff or going out, and how much can you really buy with your salary?
Yeah, I mean the necessities are so cheap. Like you're spending next to nothing on food and drinks and things like this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy. You can go on a site and you can buy like new technologies, new clothes, and things like that. And all of that's so cheap that it doesn't really matter how good the salary is, especially in Xi'an anyway. Everything's very cheap. So the salary for me is like I don't struggle at all
Mm-hmm.
with the salary I'm on.
Speaking about your free time, leisure time, what do you usually do outside of the class? How do you like spending time in Xi'an?
Yeah, well, I mean, at first it was like it was hard to get used to work, like they're getting into a different routine. So like I would chill out a lot in the evenings, but then I started going out with the Chinese teachers and the foreign teachers in my school.
Mm-hmm.
And then while I was out here, I've met some other teachers from different schools and been added into like expat groups and things like that for the city,
Mm-hmm.
event groups, things like that. And then I usually go out with those most nights, if not every other night. It's not always going out and getting like having a load of drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes just go out for some food, just arranging now, going skiing with a load of them. Yeah, so like you make friends really easily as soon as you get into those groups.
Mm-hmm. Well, the last question we have is you being in China, what would be your piece of advice to those who still hesitate or plan to come to China but don't know where to start or what to read or what to like research? And is it really worth coming to China to teach English, to your opinion?
Yeah, well, for me, like I would 100% recommend it to anyone. I didn't really do too much research. Like I figured out a lot of it while I was over here, how things work, asked a lot of questions and got a lot of knowledge while I was here. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Yeah, just dive into it and you'll love it while you're out here. You get to meet so many interesting people and everyone's so nice to you and is always willing to help because they know it's not your mother tongue and they know it's not your mother country, so that they want to help you as well. And yeah, like if you go work and live in China, they help you with everything that is involved with the moving over, everything you need to get together. So it's just really easy to get in.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Kyle, for sharing this experience. It was my pleasure to talk to you. And thank you for this wonderful review about our company. I hope our viewers on the website will really like it.
Yeah, hopefully they will, and I might see them sometime.